Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923, AnyMac Home Mortgage, an equal housing lender, American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC, DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage, LoFi Direct, Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent, License Lender, Broker Number ML 338923, Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License Number MC 338923, Rhode Island License Lender, License Number 2011280L. Call for additional details.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I am Steve Risser, along here with Justin. No, sorry about that. I am Steve Risser. Justin is out this week, so it'll just be me this week, and we've made it. We have made it. Tomorrow is the start of the NFL season. We open up with the team that won the Super Bowl, the Kansas City Chiefs, against the team they beat in the AFC Championship game in the Baltimore Ravens. The Chiefs raising their third banner in 5 years. They'll be doing it at Arrowhead tomorrow. So we'll start right there. We got the Ravens and the Chiefs. We'll start right there. And this is a game that I've been looking forward to all off season. This is going to be a very, very interesting game between these two teams. It should be a really fun game between these two. And for this game, I think the big key for the Ravens is, because you remember what happened last year in the AFC Championship game, they were not able to run the football against the Chiefs. They only got 27 rushing yards from any of their running backs in that game. So they were not able to run the ball against the Chiefs. And Patrick Mahomes, he had a pretty good game. He only scored 17 points, but he did come through at the end with that big play to Marquez Valdez-Scantling to put the game away. So I think this is going to be another close competitive game. But I do think the difference in this game is going to be the running game, because I trust the Chiefs' run defense to stop the run more than I trust the Ravens' run defense to stop the run. A run defense that lost Patrick Queen in the offseason. He went to the Steelers. So I do think the Chiefs, they control the ground game with Isaiah Pacheco. I think they do a good job of that. I think Mahomes, the touchdown passes in the game. I know they're not going to have Hollywood Brown, but they're going to be featuring their rookie Xavier Worthy. They're going to have Travis Kelce in the game. So I do think this is going to be a close competitive game. But again, the Chiefs, Patrick Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes, 4-1 against Lamar Jackson, the Ravens. The Ravens have only beat the Chiefs 1 out of 5 times. And so, I think it's going to be 5-4. I think the Chiefs are going to go to 5-1 against Mahomes going to go 5-1 against Lamar. I think Mahomes is going to outplay him. I think the Chiefs are going to run the ball better with Pacheco. I think that the Chief defense is going to contain Derrick Henry, maybe force a turnover. And I think it comes right down to the end. But it's going to be either Mahomes doing what he did last year, Mahomes closing out the game like he did last year, or the Chiefs defense making a stop. And that's why I got the Chiefs going to 1-0. I got the Chiefs going to 1-0, beating the Ravens 27-20 in Kansas City tomorrow night. So I got the Chiefs winning this game. Justin, he's not here, but I'm going to give you his pick. He's got it 24-18. You just can't take – it's just hard to take. I like the Ravens. I think they're going to win the division again. I said last week on the preview show, I think they're going to win the division again, but I just think it's very, 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 very hard to take the Ravens against the Chiefs. I just think it is. And that's why I got Kansas City winning this. I got Kansas City winning it again, starting 1-0, starting their quest to make history and win 3 straight Super Bowls. So I got Kansas City beating Baltimore 27-20 tomorrow night on opening night in Kansas City. We will move on to the game in Brazil. We'll move on to the game in Brazil between two teams that are hoping to make a run to the Super Bowl this year. You got the Green Bay Packers and two teams that kind of had, they kind of weird year. They kind of had opposite seasons. The Packers last year, they started very, very slow. They started 3-6, but they ended up winning 6 of their last 8 games, got into the playoffs, beat the Cowboys in a playoff game. Jordan Love was the best quarterback in the NFL in the second half of the season. Now, I'm not saying he's the best quarterback in the league. Don't misquote me there. But he played better than any quarterback at the end of the year last year. He was outstanding. Jalen Hurts was not. He was good last year, but he was not as good as he was the year before. The Eagles got off to a great start, 11-1 start. Then they lost to the 49ers, and then they completely collapsed at the end of the year. They ended up losing 6 of their last 7 games. There were rumors at the end of the year if Nick Sirianni was going to keep his job or not. But he ended up keeping his job. But for the game, I think this is going to be a really, really exciting game between these two teams. I think it's going to be another fun. It's going to be a fun game in Brazil. I think it's going to be a shootout. You got the Packers, coming back with a really good offense. They add Josh Jacobs to that offense, and you got the receivers. You got Christian Watson, Dontavian Wicks, Romeo Doubs, and as we mentioned, Jordan Love, the best quarterback. The best quarterback. In the NFL in the second half of the year last year. So I think he's gonna have a big game. And I think the Packers are gonna get into the 30s. But I also think the Eagles, featuring their new toy in Saquon Barkley, he's gonna have a big game because the Packers struggle to stop the run. I think Jalen Hurts is gonna have a big game. I think this is gonna be I think this is gonna be a game. The team that has the ball last is gonna win it. I think the team that has the ball last wins this game. And I think it's going to be tied at the end. I think it's going to be like 27. It's going to be 27-27. The game is tied at the end. I think Jordan Love is going to be the guy that has the ball last. And I think Jordan Love is going to be the guy that leads that game-winning drive down the field. He's the guy that leads the game-winning drive down the field. That's why I got the Packers beating the Eagles in Week 1 in Brazil. I got them winning this game 30-27 over the Eagles. I got them winning to 30-27. Now, Justin disagrees with me, and that's no surprise because last week on our preview show, Justin said that the Eagles are his pick. Justin said the Eagles were going to go to the Super Bowl. They were his pick to go to the Super Bowl in the NFC. So I'm not surprised he has the Eagles 28-21 over the Packers, but I got the Packers here. 30-27 over the Packers in Brazil on Friday night. We'll move on to the 4:00 game on Sunday, and that's in Cleveland, and that game's between the Dallas Cowboys and the Cleveland Browns. So we got the Cowboys and the Browns on Sunday in Cleveland. So in Cleveland, I think this is going to be a competitive game both ways. I think this is going to be a really competitive game. I think that both offenses could struggle a little bit, but I do think both quarterbacks are going to make plays. I think Deshaun Watson's going to make plays. I think Dak Prescott's going to make plays because he has CeeDee Lamb back. Dak Prescott has CeeDee Lamb back in this game. So I think he's going to make plays as well. But I think what it's going to come down to at the end of the day is I'm going to take the team that runs the football better. And I think that's the Browns. Jacoby Ford, he had a pretty good year. Even though Nick Chubb's out, Jacoby Ford had a pretty good year for the Browns last year. Let's not forget that. He had a pretty good year for the Browns last year. So I think they run the football better. And I do think the Browns defense is right now is better than the Cowboys defense. And the Browns defense plays really well at home. I think this game comes down to two things. I think it comes down to the end. I think either Myles Garrett makes a big play for the Browns or Deshaun Watson leads them on a game-winning drive. And don't forget, that's how his season ended last year. He led the Browns on a game-winning drive. That was the last game he played last year. He led the Browns on a game-winning drive after when they knocked off the Ravens. So I think this is a close competitive game, but I'm going to go with the Cowboys to go. I got the Cowboys going 0-1, Browns going to 1-0. Give me the Browns to beat the Cowboys on Sunday. I got them winning at 23-20. Justin, he's got the Cowboys. He disagrees with me here too. He's got the Cowboys winning at 24-20 over the Browns. It's going to be close. This game could go either way. It's going to be a close one, but I'm just going with the team. I'm going with the home team and the better roster and the better roster here. That's what I'm going with. That's why I got the Browns going to 1-0 on Sunday, beating the Cowboys 23-20. We have a rematch of a postseason game on Sunday Night Football as the Rams travel to Detroit to face the Lions. We all know the storyline. Both quarterbacks. This is both their former teams. We heard about that. We talked about that a lot before the playoff game last year between these two guys. So for this game, I think this is a high scoring game. I think we're getting a high scoring game here. The Rams, they traded Ernest Jones. Now they got an undrafted free agent playing a middle linebacker. Stafford, I think inside of Ford Field, I think he has a big game too. I think this game is back and forth. But I think at the end of the day, again, I think this game ends two ways. Like last year with the Lions closing out with their offense, or the Lions making a big play with their defense. So I think this is a close, competitive game between these two. I think it's close and competitive, but at the end of the day, I got the Lions win. I got the team that came this close to making the Super Bowl this game. I got beating the Rams 31-24. I got the Lions beating the Rams 31-24 in this game because I just think that Goff has a big game. I think that Jahmyr Gibbs has a big game. Laporta might not play, but I think St. Brown has a big game. I just think they score too many points. I really like this Lions offense. The Rams, I don't like them as much as other teams, but I do think they compete in this. I don't like the Rams as much as other people, but I do think they compete in this game. And I got them win. I got them win at 31-24. And guess what? Justin agrees with me here. He has the Rams doing the same thing. He has the Rams winning 31-24 over the Lions. So we'll move on to the Monday night game. We'll move on to the Monday night game between the Jets and the Lions. We'll move on to that game. This is Aaron Rodgers' return to the lineup. Rodgers returns to the lineup for the Jets this week to face the Niners. The Niners, they've had a crazy offseason with Trent Williams and Brandon Ayuk, but those guys are back now. Those guys are back. They'll be in the lineup Monday night against the Jets. Aaron Rodgers, he's back from coming off from a torn Achilles, which he hurt in the opening Monday night game last year against the Buffalo Bills. So again, I think this game is going to be a good one. I think it'll be a good one. I think that the Niners offense might be a little rusty, but I don't think they have that much of a problem moving the football because of Hassan. Because I think there's no way I think Hassan Reddick is going to play. And the Jets traded Bryce Huff. No, the Jets didn't re-sign Bryce Huff. They traded for Hassan Reddick. I don't think their pass rush is going to be that good. So that's why I think the Niners are going to be able to move the football. Now, I don't know if the Niners are going to finish drive. I think they're going to be kicking some field goals. I think the Jet defense will bend but not break. And I do think Rodgers does move the ball a little bit, but I do think that Niners defense forced him to make a mistake. And I do think that Niners defense makes a stop at the end in this game. And that's why I got the 49ers winning their opening game against Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. I got the Niners winning 23-17 over the New York Jets. So, and Justin agrees with me here. Justin agrees. He has the Niners winning 20. He's got them winning at 20-16. So Justin has this been one-score game. I have as a one-score game. So it should be a really good one Monday night in San Francisco. It should be a really good game between these two teams. We will move on to another New York team, and that's the Giants. That's my Giants. Opening day against the Minnesota Vikings. You got Sam Darnold making a return to MetLife Stadium. You got Daniel Jones in a crucial year for him this year. And I think this is going to be a really close competitive game. I think it's going to be a really close competitive game. I think the Vikings will have success running the football with Aaron Jones. I think they'll have a pretty good game, not dominate, but a pretty good game on the ground. I think the Vikings will move the ball for the Giants. I think Daniel Jones actually plays. I know Brian Flores is a good defensive coordinator. Daniel Jones plays pretty well in this game. I think they were able to get a little bit of a running game going with Singletary and Gray and Tracy. I do think they'll get Wandale involved early on, which will open things up for Malik Neighbors. I do think Malik Neighbors gets his first touchdown in this game. I do think he's a factor. I think he's definitely going to be a factor in this game as well. Now, one thing you do know is Brian Flores is going to do everything he can to limit Malik Neighbors. He's going to do everything he can to limit Malik Neighbors. That's why it's imperative that the Giants run the football and they get Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton and Jalen Highland involved early, so that could open things up for Malik Neighbors because he is going to be the focal point of this offense. You saw how great of a training camp he had. He is going to be the focal point of the Giants offense. And Brian Flores, who you can say what you want about him as a head coach, but he is a really good defensive coordinator. He is going to limit Malik Neighbors. He is going to limit Malik Neighbors. So the Giants got to be prepared to that. They got to counter with getting Wan'Dale involved, getting Hyde involved, getting Slayton involved, and being able to run the ball. And then on the defensive side of the ball, I think the Giants I think they bend but not break because you're not going to see a lot of blitzing from a Shane Bowen defense. This defense, you're not going to see a lot of blitzing from Shane Bowen here. You're not going to see them blitz a lot. So I think it's going to be a little bit of a bend but not break. The Vikings are going to get into Giants territory. They're going to get in the red zone, but I think they're going to kick field goals. And I think a big reason for that is they're not going to have TJ Hockenson in this game. I think that's a big reason why I think the Giant defense they're going to bend. They're not going to break. And I think this is going to be a close competitive game, but I'm going to take the quarterback who I think makes less mistakes. Because I do think Sam Darnold is going to turn the ball over a couple times. We know Sam Darnold turns the football over. That's obvious. We definitely know Sam Darnold can turn the football over. And Daniel Jones, I think he plays pretty well. Maybe he turns the ball over once, but I think he plays pretty well in this game. And I think it all comes down to the Giants defense making a stop at the end and the addition of Brian Burns And I think it's going to be either him or Dexter Lawrence making a play. More than likely Dexter Lawrence, because Dalton Reisner's out. The Vikings are better at tackle than they are in the interior. So I do think Dexter Lawrence is the one that makes that big play. I think he has a big game. I think Dexter Lawrence is a monster game on Sunday. I think he's a really big game in the run game. And I think he gets pressure on Darnold to force some turnovers. But I think Dexter Lawrence is the one that makes the big play. And that's why I got the Giants winning on opening day. I got the Giants winning on opening day. I got the Giants beating the Vikings 24-19. And guess what? Even though Justin hates the Giants, he agrees with me here. He agrees with me here. He's got the Giants winning this game 20-17. So we both, Justin and I, both have the Giants winning this game. I think the Giants win this game. I think they go off to a 1-0 start. And let me tell you, it's very, very important for this. Looking at this Giants schedule, it's very, very important for them to be at minimum 1-1 coming out of their first two games, because they got Sam Darnold and they got a rookie quarterback in Jaden Daniels and a team they have owned for years in the Washington Commanders. So it is very, very imperative for the Giants to come out of this 1-1. It's imperative for that to happen. It has got to happen for the Giants to come out of 1-1. Because if you look at their schedule after that, it gets tough. They go to Cleveland. If you look at their schedule, week 3 to week 8. Week 3, they go to Cleveland. Week 4, host Dallas. Week 5, go to Seattle. Week 6, since Joe Burrow and Cincinnati comes in. Week 7, Saquon Barkley and the Eagles come in. And week 8, they go to Pittsburgh. Their next 6 games are, after those first 2, are brutal. This team, this is why if they start 0-2, this could be a very, very long year for this football team. So it is imperative for this team to, at minimum, start 1-1. They got to do that. They got to do that. So it's got to start on Sunday, and I think it's going to happen on Sunday for them. I got them beating the Vikings 24-19 on Sunday. We got the Patriots starting the Gerard Mayo era in Cincinnati against the Bengals. And even though there's a good chance Jamar Chase won't be a factor in this game, I just don't think it's going to matter, because I just think the Patriots offensively, I think going into the season, there's a reason Drake May's not playing. The Patriots have the worst offense in the NFL. And I don't think there's any question about it. I think the Patriots are the worst offense in the NFL. They're going to have Kendrick Bourd's going to miss the first 4 games. They got Jacoby Brissett playing, but this team, they're average at running the football. They're bad on the offensive line. Their skill guys in the passing game are absolutely terrible. I think their best guy is Hunter Henry, and he's average at best. So defensively too, they're good. They're good defensively. Got a defensive-minded head coach in Gerard Mayo, but they're not anywhere near great defensively. And they're going up against one of the top quarterbacks in the game in Joe Burrow. Now, yeah, they might not have Jamar Chase, but T. Higgins is on that field. They drafted Jermaine Burton, and it's still Joe Burrow, a top quarterback in this league they're going up against. I think this Bengals defense is going to force Brissett to turn the ball over. I think Burrow's going to throw a couple touchdown passes. And I think even with Jamar Chase not being a big factor, I think this is the most lopsided game of week 1. And I got the Bengals winning big. I got them winning 27-10 over the Patriots. And Justin, we all know, remember, anyone who listens to this show a lot, we all know he's a Pats fan. He even has the Patriots losing by 2 scores. So this looks like this will be an easy win for Cincinnati with Joe Burrow and the Bengals, who are decent defensively, going up against one of the worst offenses in football. And I think the big question for the Patriots is, when does Drake May start? When does Drake May start? And for me, I've said this on this show. I said it 2 weeks ago on this show. Week 5 in Miami. Week 5 in Miami will be the spot where Drake May starts. When they not in Miami, when they host the Dolphins in Foxborough. So that's my prediction. Week 5 in Miami will be the first game that Drake May will play. So I think this is a year for the Patriots. It's definitely a rebuilding season. The big thing for Mayo is he's got to look like he belongs as a head coach. That's the biggest thing. He can't go 1-16 or 0-17. If he goes 5-12 or 4-13, I think he's fine. And he's going to be the coach the next year. He just can't embarrass himself, Gerard Mayo. And he's had some moments early on. He was sending some mixed messages about the quarterback situation, but you got to give, if you're the Patriots, you got to give this regime patience. You got to give this regime of Elliott Wolf and Gerard Mayo patience. You're in a rebuild. Really because Mac Jones didn't work out, and Bill Belichick did a terrible job drafting skill guys. So I think this is going to be the start of a very, very tough season for the Patriots. It's going to be a start of a really tough year for the Patriots, where I don't think they're going to win more than three or four games, and that's why I got the Bengals winning this, and I got the Bengals winning it pretty big. I got the Bengals winning 27-10 over the Patriots on Sunday afternoon in Cincinnati. All right, we will kind of zoom through some of the some of the other games. Now kind of zoom through most of the slate in the NFL, kind of how we normally do. We kind of normally talk a lot about the big games, and that's what we'll do this year. We'll be talking a lot more about the big games. The games that we know people are going to be seeing, like the Thursday night game, the Monday night game, the Sunday night game, and the Giants and Patriots. We'll definitely break those games down more than we're going to break down some of these. So that's why we're going to kind of whiz through some of these other games. And we're going to whatever you want to call it, zip through some of the other games. So we are going to start in Atlanta as the Steelers travel to Atlanta to face the Falcons. And in this game, I think this is going to be an ugly game. I think it's going to be an ugly game because Kirk Cousins, coming off a torn Achilles, he really has not had a lot of work. He had no preseason action. He didn't play at all in the preseason. He's facing a good defense in Pittsburgh. The one thing you can say about Pittsburgh is they got a good defense and they're well coached. Now, the quarterback position we saw in the preseason is a little bit of a nightmare. So I think this is going to be a very, very ugly game. There's going to be turnovers both ways, but I think it's going to come right down to the end where the Steelers defense makes a big play, and that's why I got the Steelers going to 1-0, pulling the upsets. One of my 3 upsets this week. I picked 3 upsets. I picked the Packers, I picked my Giants, and I picked the Steelers to pull it up. So this is one of my 3 upsets this week. I got the Steelers beating the Falcons 17-13. I think their defense makes a big stop at the end. I get the Steelers beating the Falcons 17-13, and Justin agrees. It's one of his upsets this week. It's one of his upsets. He's got the Steelers winning just like he picked the Giants in an upset. He's got the Steelers winning this week 20-17 over the Falcons. So we both got the Steelers pulling the upset this week. Very, very interesting game down in Miami. Very interesting game down in Miami between Trevor Lawrence and the Jags and Tua Tagovailoa, who both these quarterbacks just got paid this offseason. You had Trevor Lawrence getting a new deal with the Jaguars in June, and you had Tua at the end of July getting a new deal with the Dolphins. Trevor Lawrence making $55 million a year, and Tua making $53 million a year. So I think this is going to be a back and forth game. It's going to be a back and forth game between these two quarterbacks. I think both these quarterbacks are going to play well, but at the end of the day, I think the Dolphins run the football a little bit better than the Jags. And I do think the quarterback makes less mistakes in this game. And that's why I'm going to go with the Dolphins close here. I'm going to go with the Dolphins close. I got the Dolphins 31-27 over Jacksonville this week. Got the Dolphins beating the Jags 31-27. I think, again, you're getting a big week from Tua. Justin also agrees with me. He's got the Dolphins winning 30-24. So we both got the Dolphins this week. So yeah, it should be a really fun game out in Miami with 2 teams, both Florida teams going at it. It should be a fun game between those 2 teams. And this is a rematch. This is a rematch of these 2 quarterbacks faced off against each other in the 2018 national championship game. So that's another interesting nugget going into this game. We head to Chicago, and we got Caleb Williams playing his opening game for the Bears, and he'll be facing a Connecticut guy, Will Levis, and the Titans. I mean, we'll start with the Bears. Bears had a great offseason, going out and getting Keenan Allen, going out and drafting Rome Odunze. They have put Caleb Williams in a great position to succeed. Defense is decent as well. So they have put Caleb Williams in a great position to succeed. And I said it last week. If they don't win more than half their games, Matt Eberflus got to be fired because the Bears have really done a good job putting a pretty good roster together this year. They are my pick to go to the playoffs. I got them as the number 7 seed in the postseason. And you're facing a Titans team that is a mystery. Titans are a mystery. You don't know what you're getting out of Will Levis. You don't really, they have potential to be good, but they got rid of a coach who I thought was pretty good. And this is Brian Callahan's first year. So the Titans are a real mystery, probably the biggest mystery in the league this year are the Tennessee Titans. But for this game, I think Chicago wins it. I think when they win it by double digits, I think they run the ball with Swift. I think Caleb even though this is his first NFL game, I think he has a good game against this team. And I think the Bears defense forced a couple turnovers against Will Levis. And that's why I got the Bears winning. I got them win it by double digits. I got them winning it 28-17. I got the Bears beating the Titans 28-17. I got the Bears going to 1-0, Titans going to 0-1. And Justin, he agrees with me. He's got the Bears a little bit closer. Justin's got a little bit closer. Justin's got it 23-20. He thinks Will Levis and those Titans are going to give the Bears a close game, but I got the Bears here. I got the Bears winning it 23-20 over the Titans. We have a interesting matchup in Indianapolis. This is how let's not forget, this is how the Colts season ended last year. Colts and Texans had a big game in Week 18. Texans won. That game ended up determining who won the NFC South. The Texans ended up winning the division, ended up winning a playoff game. I mean, C.J. Stroud was great in that playoff game. Texans ended up losing the divisional round to the Ravens, but we got a rematch of that game this year. Divisional matchup, interesting game. The difference though for the Colts is Anthony Richardson will be playing, not Gardner Minshew. Here's the thing in this game. I think Taylor had success on the ground. I think it's a big game on the ground. I think it's a good game on the ground. But I do think the difference in this game is going to be the two quarterbacks. I think you're going to see a guy that is the offensive rookie of the year against a guy that's basically playing in his rookie year. As I saw in the preseason, Anthony Richardson struggled with accuracy and decision making. Now, the upside is there of Anthony Richardson. He's got the upside to be a top 10 guy, but the accuracy and decision making needs to get better. And I do think the Colts are the team that runs the football better in this game. I do think so. But I think the Texans definitely get better quarterback play. And I think it comes down to the end. I think it comes down to the end where the Colts got to score. And I think this Texans defense, especially their pass rush, makes a play. Either Will Anderson or the guy they signed in the offseason, Danielle Hunter, makes a play. And that's why I got the Texans going to 1-0. I got the Texans going to Lucas Oil Stadium on Sunday, beating the Colts 30-24. I got the Texans winning this one 30-24 over the Colts. So I got the Texans going to 1-0. Colts going 0-1. Interesting year for both teams. Texans, a lot of people think they're a Super Bowl contender because of their addition to getting Stephon Diggs. The Colts, they're hoping to be back at where they were last year, competing for a playoff spot. Shane Steichen did a really good job last year with that team, and Colts fans are hoping that with Anthony Richardson, they could be competing for a playoff spot again. We got a matchup of two pretty good quarterbacks. Got one really good quarterback and one pretty good quarterback in Buffalo as Kyler Murray and the Cardinals head all the way out to Buffalo to face Josh Allen and the Bills. This should be another fun game. Where I think Josh Allen has a big game. I think the Cardinals will be improved in defense, but definitely not improved enough. I think Allen is a big game. I know he lost Stephon Diggs, but he's got James Cook is I think now the focal point of the offense, and he runs the ball well. I think that Josh Allen is a big game. He gets the ball out to Keon Coleman and Dawson Knox. And he throws two or three touchdown passes. I do think Kyler Murray plays pretty well too against this Bills defense. And I think Marvin Harrison has a good game too. But I do think that Murray will turn the ball over once or twice. And that's why I got Buffalo winning this one. Give me the Bills winning this. Give me the Bills winning this game 34-24 over the Cards. Give me the Bills winning this one 34-24 to go to 1-0. And then if you look at Justin, he agrees with me here. He's got the Bills too winning 31-24. So I got 34-24. Justin's got 31-24. Should be an exciting game between Josh Allen and Kyler Murray. Should be an exciting game between those two quarterbacks. Now we'll move on to an NFC South matchup in New Orleans as we got Bryce Young and the Panthers. First game with him and Dave Canales together against Dennis Allen and the Saints. Now, I don't think either of these teams are going to be that good. I mean, the Panthers are more of a mystery than the Saints. I think the Panthers are a mystery because you don't know what Bryce Young is going to be with Dave Canales. You're assuming he's going to be much more improved than he was in his rookie year. And then you got the Saints, and the Saints, bad offensive line, good, decent on defense, but older guys on defense. Still have a pretty good running back in Alvin Kamara. And I think that's the biggest reason why they win. I think the biggest reason why they win this game is I think Kamara is a good game on the ground. I do think the Saints are able to move the ball against the Panthers defense that traded away Brian Burns to my team, the New York Giants. And I do think that Bryce Young will struggle a little bit. I mean, the Panthers averaged 11 points a game against the Saints last year. I think Bryce Young will struggle a little bit. And again, I think this game comes down to the end. Where Dennis Allen's defense makes a play. And that's why I do think the New Orleans Saints go to 1-0. I got them winning at 20-13. Justin's got them win at 23-17. Kind of, a low-scoring game between two teams that I feel like are not going to do that much this year. So Justin has, the Saints winning in a low-scoring game too. I got the Saints winning it 20-13 over the Panthers. Now we got an interesting matchup down in Tampa as you have the first start for Jaden Daniels for the Commanders against a surprise team last year in the Bucs, who not only won the NFC South, won a playoff game, crushed the Eagles in the first round of the playoffs. So I think this is going to be a very interesting game between these two teams. And I do think Jaden Daniels is going to move the ball. I think he is. I think he's going to have a good game with his legs. I think he's going to get the ball to Terry McLaurin. Because the Bucs pass defense is very suspect. But on the other end, I think Baker Mayfield has a big game. I think he does. I even think Rashard White helps him on the ground. I think Mayfield throws a couple touchdowns. And I think this game comes down to the end. But I'm going to take the team with the more experienced quarterback here. I'm going to take the team with the more experienced quarterback. And that's why I got the Buccaneers beating the Commanders. I got the Bucs beating the Commanders 27-23. And Justin agrees. Kind of the same. He expects kind of the same kind of game here. He's got the Bucs winning this one 24-21. I think it's going to be a close game. Here's the one thing, though, about the Commanders, which I think is ridiculous. The fact, they're being, clear. A lot of people think they're a better team than the Giants, but I think it's absurd. I think the Giants' defense is better. The only area of the team that I think that the Commanders I think are better than the Giants is they have a quarterback that potentially could be better. Potentially, never played a snap in the NFL, and Terry McLaurin is a very proven number one receiver. He's a proven number one receiver. So I think this is, again, go back to the Bucs and Commanders. I think this is a close game, but I'm going to go with the team that made the playoffs last year. I got the Bucs winning it 27-23 over the Commanders. We got an AFC West matchup in LA. Now it's going to be more, it's basically a Raider home game. It's going to be more Raider fans than Charger fans. We all know that. But I think this matchup is going to be I know there was the week 15 game last year. The Raiders won 63-21. Totally different situation. Justin Herbert will be on the field. You got Jim Harbaugh coaching. So Jim Harbaugh in his opening game. And I think this is kind of a little bit of a sloppy game, though, because we all know one thing about the Chargers is at the receiver position. They are thin at the receiver position because, they had to trade Keenan Allen. They weren't able to re-sign Mike Williams. So, they have Quentin Johnson's got to step up for them. So does McConley, the rookie. So he's got to step up. And then for the Raiders, I don't mind their front seven. I like their front seven. I like Mike Frasby. I like the fact they went out and got Christian Wilkins. I think Robert Spillane had a pretty good year at middle linebacker last year. But at the end of the day, you got Justin Herbert against Gardner Minshew. I think the game is close and competitive. But I think, again, Herbert makes less mistakes than Minshew. And then when it comes down to it, Minshew doesn't get the job done. And that's why I got the Chargers winning this one 20-16 over the Raiders. But Justin disagrees here. Justin disagrees. He has the Raiders winning at 21-17. And listen, I think the Chargers, to me, I think they're a playoff team. I think they are a playoff. They might think I'm crazy, but I think they're a playoff team because of the way they run the football, because of the coaching, and they got a top 10 quarterback. But Justin last week didn't think they were a playoff team, so I'm not surprised he picked the Raiders here to win 21-17. It's one of his. I think Justin took 4 ups. I think he took like 4 upsets. I think he took. I took 3 upsets. I think he took 4. He took the Raiders. He took the Giants. And he took the Cowboys. And I got to check see who else he took. But I think he took about 4 upsets this week. But Justin's got the Raiders. I got the Chargers. Should be an interesting game between these two teams on Sunday afternoon. So we will wrap up talking about a rematch of a Super Bowl over a decade ago, as the Broncos head out to Seattle to face the Seahawks. And I remember this 2 years ago with these two teams. I remember these two teams playing a Monday night game with Russell Wilson, but the Broncos lost that game, and that pretty much summed up the Russell Wilson era because he's now off the team and he's in Pittsburgh. So this should be an interesting game, but I just think Seattle's going to, at home, you got a rookie quarterback who I really liked. I like some of the things Denver has done, starting Bo Nix, locking up Patrick Surtain to a long-term deal today, their best defensive player, probably the best player on their team right now, to a long-term deal. So I like some of the things Denver has done, but I think in this game, I think Seattle runs the football. I think Geno, who I don't love, but I think he has a good game this week, throws a couple touchdowns. Bo Nix will look pretty good, but I do think he turns the ball over. I think it's a very tough place for a rookie. This is a very tough stadium for a rookie quarterback to start his career in. Very tough stadium for a rookie to start his career in. One of the toughest places to play in the NFL, no matter how good or bad the Seahawks are. So I think it's going to be a Seattle win. I think it's going to be a Seattle win. I got the Seahawks winning this game 31-20 over the Broncos. And Justin agrees. Justin agrees that it's going to be a game where the Seahawks win. The Seahawks win it by double digits. So Justin definitely agrees there. So Justin has the Seahawks as well as I do. So as we wrap up the NFL, we will look ahead to week 2 of college football. And we got a big game. We got a big game in the big house. But before we talk about that game, we're going to hear from our friends at JPEG Financial and Shamrock Home Inspections.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut. There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
All righty, so we move on to week 2 of the college football season after a wild week 1 of upsets. You saw BC beating Florida State. You saw USC beating LSU. So we had a wild week of we had USC beating LSU, Notre Dame going into Texas A&M. So a wild week of upsets, a wild week 1 in college football. Just like the start of week 0 when Florida State beat Georgia Tech. Maybe it's just a Florida State thing because they can't beat anyone. They just are clearly not the same team as they were last year. But we will get to the games in week 2, and we will start with the big game in the big house as we got the number 3 Texas Longhorns facing the number 10 Michigan Wolverines. This was close to what the national championship game could have been last year between those two teams. Very close to what that game could have been. Michigan won the national title. Texas lost in the semifinal to Washington, but Texas now returned. Now there's a reason Texas is a 7.5-point favorite in this game is Texas returns Quinn Ewers. They return Quinn Ewers in this game. Michigan, they've lost a ton, and you saw it last week. That was I know they won 30-10. That was a one-score game with Fresno State into the fourth quarter. I mean, you saw what Michigan lost with J.J. McCarthy, with Blake Corum, and obviously most importantly, they lost Jim Harbaugh, their head coach. So for this game, early on, I wanted to pick Michigan in this game. From what I saw last week, I just couldn't do it. I could not pick Michigan in this game. And I flipped on this game so much. I thought early on Michigan could win this game. From what I saw last week, no. Quarterback play is just Texas quarterback play is just at another level. Quinn Ewers is just much better than David Warren, and I think it's going to make a difference. Yeah, I think Michigan keeps it close. They might be winning at halftime, but eventually I got Texas winning this game. Michigan, I think they're able to contain the run game of Michigan. I think they do that. They force a couple turnovers from David Warren, and Quinn Ewers throws a couple touchdown passes. Texas clearly has the better quarterback in this game, and then there's a reason why they're the number 3 ranked team in the country, and Michigan's the number 10 ranked team in the country after winning the national title. So I think this is a game that's competitive for a half, and I think it's competitive for most of the game, but I think eventually Texas pulls away, and I got Texas winning this one on the road. I got Texas beating Michigan 27-17 at the Big House on Saturday. And I wish here's my mistake. I wish I would have gotten Justin's college picks. I know the audience wanted to hear Justin's college pick, so that one's on me. I should have gotten Justin's college picks, but I got Texas win the big game in the Big House on Saturday at noon. I got Texas beating Michigan 27-17. I think this is a game that Texas needs. I think this is a game that Texas needs too, because they also play Georgia late in the year. So I think this is definitely a game Texas needs to help them get into the college. Both teams need this game to get into the college football play. That's why it's such a big game on Saturday. But I definitely think this is a game that Texas needs. I think this is a game that Texas wins, and it wins to get back to the college football playoff and eventually compete for a national championship. We will head to Stillwater as we got an SEC Big 12 matchup as Arkansas faces faces Oklahoma State. Now, Arkansas won 70-0 last week, but they're also were picked to finish 15th in the SEC. And I do think this game is competitive for a little while, but eventually in the second half they take over. And the big reason is Ollie Gordon. What a game Ollie Gordon had last week. 3 touchdowns, rushed for over 100 yards. Huge game last week. There's another big game this week where he goes for over 100. And that's why I got Oklahoma State winning this. I got Oklahoma State winning this game. I got Oklahoma State. Give me Oklahoma State 31-20. 31-20 over Arkansas. I think yes, everybody's going to say Arkansas won 70-0, but they played against a bad team. And I think that Oklahoma State wins this. I think Oklahoma wins this one. I think Oklahoma State wins this one by double digits. There's a reason Oklahoma State was picked on the top of the Big 12 and Arkansas was picked at the bottom. And I think that's going to show up on Saturday. Now we got the Big 12 opener. The Big 12 opener for Baylor the Big 12 opener for Utah. My bad. Big 12 opener for Utah as they host Baylor. And I think this isn't going to be – I think this will be maybe a game for a quarter or maybe a quarter and a half. But I think eventually Cam Rising, he had a great I know he played, I think, Southern Utah or someone. But he had a great first half back after coming back from that ACL injury, which he tore in that Rose Bowl against Penn State in 2022. He had a great second half. He had a really, really good really good first half. And I think it's a really good game here. I think there was a couple touchdown passes. I think Utah controls this game. Defense forces Baylor to turn the ball over a couple times, and that's why I got Utah winning it. They're a 2-touchdown favorite. I got them continuing. I got them winning it by 2 scores. I got Utah winning the game over Baylor 34-17. So I got the Utes going to 2-0. Now we got an interesting matchup at 3:30 in Kinnick. You get the Battle of Iowa between Iowa State and Iowa. I think, again, this is always a very interesting game, sometimes a very low-scoring game every year. This is always Justin likes this matchup for some reason. Very, very interesting game between Iowa and Iowa State here. I think it's going to be a really close game. Close, low-scoring game. But in this game, I think the difference is going to be the quarterback. I think the quarterback for Iowa is better in Cade McNamara. I think Kalen Johnson is going to do a good job running the football, and I think it's going to, again, be a really close competitive game. But at the end of the day, I'm going with the favorite here. I'm going to go with the Hawkeyes. I got the Hawkeyes beating the Cyclones 24-17, but in a very, very competitive game on CBS Saturday afternoon. Very competitive game between these two teams on Saturday afternoon. Now, we got a very, very probably one. You got 2 unranked teams playing in Lincoln, but this arguably outside of Texas, Michigan could be the biggest game of the weekend. Even though these 2 teams are unranked, this might be the biggest game of the weekend between Colorado and Nebraska. Obviously, these teams were rivals for years. I mean, they've been rivals for years. They're especially back in the old Big 12. I remember one year, Nebraska was undefeated and Colorado destroyed them. Destroyed them in the last game of the season, then ended up winning the Big 12. So these 2 teams have been rivals for years. Last year, Deion had the upper hand on Matt Rule, beating them 37-14 in Boulder. But I think this one's going to be really competitive, especially with Matt Rule being there. Nebraska, a 7.5-point favorite in this game. Nebraska beat a 7.5-point favorite in this game. But this is my one upset of the week. I love the way Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter played. Again, I know it was North Dakota State, a 1AA school, but that's one of the best FCS schools in the country. So I really like the way Shedeur played. I like the way that Travis Hunter played. I think this is going to be a really close game between these 2 teams. I think it's going to be up and down the field. I think it's going to be kind of similar to the Eagles-Packers game on Friday. I think this is going to be a very entertaining game up and down the field. I think Dylan Raiola is going to have a really good game, the freshman quarterback. I think Shedeur Sanders is a really good game. But I'm going to go with experience here. I'm going to go with experience, and I'm going to go with Colorado to beat Nebraska for the second straight year. I got Colorado winning this game 30-27. And one thing on Colorado, if you don't think this team is a bowl team, you don't know what you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. This team's winning at least 7-8 games. They are. Got one of the best quarterbacks in America in Shedeur Sanders. They got the best receiver in America in Travis Hunter. Outside of the quarterback from Arizona and McMullen, this is the best QB receiver combo in the game, in college football. If you don't think that Colorado is going to the playoffs, you know what I mean? Not going to the playoffs, is going to make a bowl game or win more games they lose, you don't know what you're talking about. Shedeur Sanders is improved. Travis Hunter is amazing. Their defense, I know it's not great, but it's a little bit better. They're a little bit better on the offensive line. This team is going to a bowl game. They're going to finish higher than 11th in the Big 12. They're going to a bowl. They're going to a bowl game, and I got them pulling the upset here. I got them pulling not the big upset, but the upset here. I mean, Nebraska. It's weird to say they're the underdog in this game because they crushed Nebraska last year. But Dylan Raiola definitely makes a difference. You bring a quarterback in like that, it definitely makes a difference. But at the end of the day, I'm going Colorado here. I'm going Colorado 30-27 over Nebraska. I'm going Colorado 30-27 over Nebraska on Saturday night in Lincoln. Should be a great scene Saturday night in Lincoln, Nebraska. Now we got an interesting game in Champaign as Kansas faces Illinois, and I think Bielema's going to have his team ready. I think they're going to be able to run the football like a lot of Brett Bielema teams do, be able to run the football. But I think their defense is going to be able to they're going to have trouble handling David Neal. They're going to have trouble handling Jalen Daniels. I think they're going to have trouble. That's why I got Kansas. That's why they're the number 19th ranked team in the country. That's why I got them scoring in the 30s on Saturday night. And I got them winning this one. I got them winning at 34-27. Will be a competitive game. I mean, I think Altmaier will do what he can do, but I think he makes more mistakes than Jalen Daniels. At the end of the day, like I always say, if the quarterback makes more mistakes than the other quarterback, if the quarterback makes less mistakes than the other quarterback, usually the quarterback that makes less mistakes wins the game. And that's why I got Kansas here. I got Kansas beating Illinois 34-27 Saturday night in Champaign. We got a very, very interesting matchup. I think the game in Charlotte in the Dukes Mayo Classic, as we got Tennessee traveling to Charlotte to face NC State. But I don't think this game is going to be as close as people. I don't think this game is going to be that close. I really don't. There's a reason that Tennessee is I think they're like a 9.5 point favorite, and that's because North Carolina State was very, very unimpressive in their first game against Western Carolina. Very, very unimpressive in that game. Give over 100 yards rushing to Western Carolina. You see what Tennessee's offense is going to do to you? Put up 69 points. I know they didn't play a good team, but put up 69 points in their opener. I think Tennessee controls this game. I think Tennessee wins this game. I think their freshman quarterback is a problem. I think I think he's a good player. I can't pronounce his name. Sorry, guys. Can't pronounce his name. But I think their true freshman quarterback, I think he's a problem. But I think Tennessee wins this game, and I got to win it by double digits. I got Tennessee winning this one by double digits. I got the true freshman from Tennessee outplaying Grayson McCall. I do think Tennessee's defense forces McCall, who's been in college forever. I remember he was talked about during the pandemic year when he was at Coastal Carolina. So he's been in college forever. So I do think that they contain him. They forced McCall to turn the ball over a couple times, and I got Tennessee winning this one. I got Tennessee going to 2-0, beating NC State 34-20. I got Tennessee over NC State 34-20. Now we'll wrap up talking college football, talking about this Boise State Oregon game. And listen, I know Oregon struggled with Idaho last week. I know they struggled a little bit with Idaho. And I know that's an issue. They got to finish drives. I know they outgained 2-1, but they got to finish drives. If Oregon's going to be a top team, they got to score more than 24 points against Idaho. But I'm seeing a bounce back week this week. And I know Boise State is considered to be a really good team. They're considered to be. I picked them as my group of five, as my playoff team in the group of five. I think they're a playoff team in the group of five. But here's the thing. I think Oregon contains their running back. I think that's the biggest thing is, can Boise State run the ball? If they can run the ball, they're going to stay in this for a little while. If they can't, Oregon's going to be able to contain that, and I think Oregon's going to take advantage of it. I think you're going to see their offense put up in the 30s this week, and I got Oregon winning it. I got Oregon winning this game 38-17 over Boise State. I got Oregon winning 38-17 over Boise State. I got Oregon going to 2-0 on the season. So I wasn't going to talk about any baseball. I was not going to talk about any baseball, but to wrap up the show, I am going to talk baseball because this closer for the Yankees, this terrible, terrible closer for the Yankees is going to force me to, because he blew another save again last night. That's 11 blown saves. 11 blown saves for Clay Holmes. I'm sick of it. And Aaron Boone, he has got to make a move. He has got to move. I'm going to say Luis Gil. He has got to move Luis Gil to the closer role. He cannot continue to have Clay Holmes as closer. He cannot continue to have that guy as his closer, because this team's now. I'm going to tell you right now, if Clay Holmes is the closer for this team will not win the World Series. This team will not win a championship with Clay Holmes as their closer. There's just no way. I mean, you thought after the Tiger game they would make a change. Oh no, they didn't. Just Aaron. If he continues to be the closer and this team doesn't get to a World Series and he blows a save, Aaron Boone has got to be fired. And also, this is on Brian Cashman. We're not going out and trading for Tanner Scott. It's on Brian Cashman. We knew this was a hole. We all knew this was a hole. We knew this was probably the biggest Achilles heel with this team. It's not the lineup, that's for sure. The lineup's been really good recently, especially since Giancarlo Stanton's came back. When you have, Soto, Judge, Stanton, and Chisholm. And then even the rotation, Rendon, Garrett Cole pitched pretty well Monday night. Rendon, 11 strikeouts. You got to win that game. You got to win a game where Rendon strikes out 11 guys, pitches that well. Your bullpen can't give a game away. And imagine if, Clay Holmes just blew half his saves, just blew had 5 blown saves or 6 blown saves. We'd be ahead. We'd have a 3 to 4 game lead in the American League East. If we had a consistent closer, we'd have a 3 to 4 game lead in the American League East. And the problem is because we don't, we're now a half game behind Baltimore. So Aaron Boone has got to fix this. He has to fix this if he wants to keep his job next year. He has got to fix this. He cannot wind up with, because even if he doesn't even play a factor in the playoffs, even if he doesn't play a factor in the postseason, he's still responsible for this, for letting this problem continue throughout the season. So there has got to be a change of the closer role. There is no question about it. If I'm watching the Yankees tonight and they're in a safe situation, Clay Holmes better not be on the mound. Even if he wins, I'm not going to be happy, because that's not good things going forward. Clay Holmes absolutely, without question, has deserved to lose his job as a closer of this team. Without question, he has deserved to lose his job as closer of this team. There is no doubt about it. No doubt about it at all. So, yes, last night better have been the last time we have seen Clay Holmes as a closer of this team. But that is going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with R&J. We are looking forward to having Justin back with us next week as we talk about week 2 of the NFL season, week 3 of the college football season, and we will continue to monitor the race between the Yankees and Orioles in the AL East, monitor the race between the Yankees and Orioles in the AL East. Enjoy the first week of NFL football, everyone.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.